anyway, you'll probably know me as Steph. I've been here to most of the groups, don't think this one. Many of you will know that I'm one of the more obscure sexualities. I'm actually what they call demisexual, which means I only have a sexual attraction to someone if there is that emotional connection. And for me, I sort of identify as a demi-bisexual. Another thing that some people may know, when we had the first group, we did like a fun fact about ourselves. Some people may know or may not know, I'm also autistic. I actually have high functioning autism, and so I thought, you know, this subject gets very rarely spoken about, so I thought I'd talk about my experience as a learning disabled person in the LGBT community. Basically, I've always known that I was different throughout my whole life, even when I was very young. And then, you know, my parents found out I was autistic and got me into my schooling, and the rest is history, and, you know, I developed well, and I thought I knew what my life was going to be and everything, and just thought no surprises. Then all of a sudden, about age 15, you had that awkward age in your life. I think maybe 15, maybe 16, could be 42, the awkward age. For me, it was 15. And I started having these very strange feelings after I had broken up with a boyfriend. I was lusting over most men. I'd look at a man and think, wow, he's gorgeous and everything. And yet I was having these strong, kind of romantic feelings for two of my best friends who were girls. One of them was more sexual and one of them was more romantic. And of course, being a 15-year-old, you're not quite sure what to do. And one of the things that was happening when you're 15, you are taught sex education. But in my school, it was very basic. We were taught the birds and the bees, and that if you had sex unprotected, you were going to have a baby. That was it. No STIs or anything like that. It was you were going to have a baby if you had sex unprotected. So, yeah. But of course for me, when I was 15, it was 2008. So you could come out as gay, bisexual, whatever, but you didn't exactly have the massive protection. Like, there was only sort of partnership, and I gather that if you sort of outed yourself at work, maybe you might not get the protection of work laws and stuff. But for me, not only was I being 15 in 2008, but I was in a special needs school. So you were taught just the very basic stuff, and many people may think that special needs people aren't really taught about sex education, when we are, because what my PHSE teacher said to me, if you're not taught about sex, you can put yourself into a great amount of danger, which is practically true. So in this case, we were taught the birds and bees, and like I said, and taught about puberty and stuff, but we weren't taught about LGBT relationships, which would have come in so much handy when I was about 15 if we were taught about, you know, homosexuality, and especially about bisexuality, because when I was 15 and not having the knowledge, I was very confused, and I thought, you know, can I be attracted to both genders? Do I have to be one thing or the other? You know, are people going to ridicule me? And I did think at one point I wanted to try being gay because I had those feelings, and I did ask a friend out, but they turned me down because they were straight, fair enough. And just, you know, having to deal with what I had. And so, if we had been given this knowledge, it may have given me the confidence to come forward and say, by the way, I want to have a chat. I've been having these feelings. Is it normal? Is it weird? You know, can I like both genders? Do I have to be one thing or the other? Maybe I've been given some more straight answers. And then maybe down the line discover about demisexuality. So unfortunately wasn't given that. So for many years, like, just going through life, and I didn't exactly repress it, I just kind of pushed it to the back of my head and just carried on dating men as you do. But one thing I kind of discovered ages ago, because my PHSE teacher and I are in a social group, like a crochet group, and she said that they are allowed to discuss it at the school, but only for the school leavers. And for some people in my school, that could be when you're 19 years old. And to be honest with you, in my opinion, that's a little too late. It should be done at least possibly around about, you know, either at age 11 when you're being taught about puberty, or maybe about 14, 15, when you talk more about the birds and bees. When you're at 19, it's like you're almost 20, like you've gone through your whole teenhood and everything. To that point then to be discussing LGBT, it's like, that's way too late. You need it, much more earlier, but that's what it is in special needs schools. So basically I had to discover myself by myself. So then eventually a friend told me about demisexuality through the research they did. I sort of pushed it away, thinking like, that's my thing. But then when I thought about it more, I thought, yeah, I think I am actually demisexual. So I finally came out at age 22 on Facebook to friends and people, and then late last year I came out on YouTube, my YouTube channel. So to think of that, having those feelings from like 15 years old all the way up to age 22 to finally realise who you are, that's a huge gap. But some people, that's how they discover themselves. Sometimes, you have to take the scenic route or you get a straight path. So for me, not having the knowledge, because most people think, they're special needs, they're straight or they get taught that sort of thing, like don't even go there. So yeah, so for me, it was the scenic route. And I thought about this, it's the fact that not many people would think about learning disabled people, physically disabled people being LGBT. And I guess in a way, it kind of goes back to the stereotype we were talking about last month, where most people wouldn't put disabled people into the subject of sex. Maybe they believe like physically disabled people, it's like, are they able to have sex, that sort of thing. Would they need certain equipment? And for learning disabled people, they think, they probably don't know about sex because they wouldn't understand. Well, if you put it in a way they can understand, then they can have the knowledge and they can keep themselves safe. And another thing I thought about is one of the biggest events that comes up. It could be for any community, so some people it's Eurovision, it could be Christmas, birthdays, but the one event or many events for the LGBT community, it's Pride. Everybody looks forward to Pride. Most people in this room are probably absolutely ecstatic and can't wait to go to Pride, just planning it. And one of the things I thought about in my experience last year is that sometimes when you look at an event, maybe disabled people may go or may not go because it depends how much disabled access they have. Like say for instance toilets, most of the time you have your portaloos. But what if you're in a wheelchair? You might have a bit of difficulty with that. Right. So it could be a case where, for yourself, you might find that's a difficulty. So it's a case of, is there going to be an accessible route for me at this event? For someone who's on the autistic spectrum, they may find Pride a very kind of stressful environment with the noise, the crowds and stuff, and they may think, am I going to be able to have a safe place to go and to come away from it all if it gets too much? So thinking about it, you could have things like accessible toilets. Unfortunately, that technology isn't around, but hopefully a pioneer out there will make one day these wonderful portable disabled toilets, which is fantastic. And also things like someone who's on the autistic spectrum, having something like a tent. That's like a very safe little place. You have beanbags in there, so they have a safe place to go to calm down or whatever if it all got too much. So then they can rejoin, And also things like, this was probably going into nitpick or whatever, but like things like signs or whatever for the blind, like either have like a braille map or have someone help guide them, that sort of thing. But it's those little things like that, like say for instance, if we can do things to make the LGBT community sort of like disabled friendly, not like massively, just little changes, whatever, and to start breaking down the stereotype that disabled people don't have sex or don't even know that sort of thing. It's like we do know it, we can enjoy it as much as everybody else. I have a partner in America, we've recently got back and he has Asperger's as well, and he shows me, disabled people can have relationships, can have sex and everything. And I think people need to sort of open up with the fact that disabled people can be anything apart from straight or just don't know. So I think in a way, by sort of maybe discussing it more or like what people think about it in that sort of way, maybe we can change people's opinions. So that's sort of what I wanted to say. My other good comment was any questions?
Yes. I have a question about going back to the Pride situation. Have you ever thought about like maybe sending them a letter or giving them an email on the company website and just like ask them if there is anything available for like disabled people or people with learning difficulties?
I mean, that's an interesting point. Like, if, say, for instance, someone wanted to like phone up ahead and say, "Oh, by the way, I'm not quite sure," because like me last year, it was quite nerve-wracking to go, but I sort of just threw myself into it and loved it. So maybe it's something you could call.
If not, suggest it.
Possibly.
Some do. Going back to Brighton, they have a safety network forum that you can contact. Because I get anxiety kind of things, and that's virtual. And it's a safe place you can go if you need it.
Oh, right.
So some of the bigger ones have it, but I guess the smaller ones maybe not.
Yeah, probably like Essex Pride, because I don't really sort of remember seeing that much last year at Essex Pride, but it's, like you say, something to inquire in.
Yeah. If not, if they don't have one at, say, like Essex Pride, get some friends together and start campaigning for it.
Yeah, we should be inclusive. That's kind of the point of our community, is that we're not, segregating anyone. We want people to feel like it's not just one thing. We're catering to one type of person, we're catering to everyone. So there should be quiet areas, there should be loud areas, there should be toilets for all. And I think that you highlight a really valid point that we are a minority, but we've got loads of minorities within our minority, and we should feel valued.
Because that was one thing I sort of thought when sort of like rediscovering it, or sort of discovering myself. I thought, can I actually be part of two minority groups? You know, can I be part of the disabled minority group as well as the LGBT minority group? And the answer is yes.
You can have it all.
Exactly. So I mean, it's something to inquire in, and like you say, campaign and stuff. I mean, MenCap is the leading charity for people, both children and adults with learning disabilities, and maybe, who knows, if we could start a campaign or, it depends. If we've got plans or whatever, or ideas, it's something we could probably go for.
And if you're thinking about something like that, you need to network with other LGBT groups in your local area. And if we're all singing from the same hymn sheet, effectively, then we can make something happen or make more people aware.
Cool.
Yeah, good. Thank you very much.